Good afternoon, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Friday, March the 2nd. Well, the legislature didn't meet today, and why should they meet 5 days a week? That's just for working stiffs, you know. There is a big issue looming in the legislature, and that's the Department of Human Services budget, a $1 billion matter that depends on whether or not Governor Asa Hutchinson can round up the votes to pass the budget with the inclusion of Arkansas Works, the insurance program under Medicaid, which some conservative Republicans oppose. He doesn't seem to have the votes at the moment. Monday, Arkansas is supposed to have a visit from a top Medicaid official from the Trump administration. Rumors out of Washington say that the Trump administration will approve Governor Asa Hutchinson's idea to put a work requirement on people who receive Medicaid. That's politically popular. Won't save a lot of money. Most people on Medicaid are either working or unable to work. But the big news would be if they turn down his idea of reducing eligibility from 138 to 100% of the federal poverty level. This would throw 60,000 people off the medical insurance program. The governor says, well, they could go to the subsidized federal marketplace, but most people know they won't because they won't be able to afford it. There's some indication the Trump administration doesn't want to go along with this because it might encourage other states who are not now in the Medicaid program to sign up too, and that would cost more money. While they'd save money in Arkansas, they'd have to spend a lot more elsewhere. And so there's some thought that that may not happen. In any event, that event Monday may decide exactly how this special session, this special budget session turns out. There's going to be a special session afterwards. We're plowing through the medical marijuana cultivation permits. Check Arkansas Blog and check Cannabiz, the Arkansas Times website, about medical marijuana news, about some of the details from the 5 outfits that have been chosen to do cultivation. They range from super amount of money by a group that includes the LaFrance family who sold the USA drug chain for $550 million, down to a married couple from Carroll County, apparently the only owners of that outfit that say they have a lot of religious backing in their application. They want to grow this God-given plant up in Carroll County, and it's just the two of them. He's a dirt mover, and so we have an interesting range of people who are prepared to get into that business. Doesn't look like it'll be any time before early next year before any medical marijuana is available. One last update on political filing yesterday. In the end, Democrats filed candidates in 91 positions. That's more than almost double the last election cycle. They are contesting 57 House seats. If there was some miracle and they won them all, they'd have a majority. Nobody really expects that to happen. But you don't get ahead without running, and more Democrats are running, and there's a tremendous number of women running. There was a great news conference by a progressive women's group that have recruited progressive women to put forward their agenda to the legislation among the old white men that tend to run things out there. That'll be a breath of fresh air. The state tax revenue is coming in after 8 months this year, well ahead of last year, including in the most recent months. So there should be some money to spend around, if only they will. The legislature continues to refuse extra money for special education students, however. Here's something developing in the city of Little Rock. I heard today from two very different, disparate sources that people are working on a proposal to change the form of government at Little Rock. If they could gather about 7,000 signatures, they could put a change to a mayor-council form of government on the ballot in the November election. There'd be a few headaches and problems in getting that change over. Some people think our combination mayor-city-manager system is inefficient, not responsive, and also not democratic with at-large seats on the city board of directors. So that's something surely to watch in the next few weeks and months ahead. Donald Trump making news. There's utter chaos in the White House. People are departing. He apparently got mad and decided to impose a steel and aluminum tariff, which will be terrible on American consumers, $175 a car by one estimate. His Commerce Secretary said that's not a lot of money. Of course, Wilbur Ross is a multimillionaire. $175 isn't a lot of money to him. And Trump is already walking back his promise to get behind some gun control measures, not to anybody's surprise. He had some good meetings with the NRA that preceded his change of view on that. And finally this, what would we be without Mike Huckabee? He was added to the Country Music Association Foundation Board. He has done some work in his life promoting music education, but it caused a huge uproar among people in the country music business, including some very powerful managers, one of whom happens to be a married gay man who doesn't like the kind of homophobic and bigoted and hateful things Mike Huckabee says about gay people. A fuss was raised, and he was forced to resign after about a day in this position. He naturally responded with his characteristic lack of charity and grace and said hatred must have won. And his wife said children were thrown under the bus. Imagine you're throwing children under the bus when you stand up for people who think it's wrong to treat children wrong based on what their sexual orientation is. I'm resisting that kind of talk, so can you. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back Monday.